Okay, so welcome everyone to today's webinar. We're just waiting for a few more people to join and then we'll get started at 12 o'clock sharpish. Um, there will be a recording available for this as well. So we'll send that around after the session so that everyone can receive a copy into their emails. We'll just wait a couple of more minutes. Just to confirm for the people that have just joined, we're just waiting until 12 or a minute or so after 12, just for more people to join the room because there was a lot of registrants and they're just joining in one by one at the moment. So hey, so it's 12 o'clock now, so it's a good time to get started. Um, so today's session is all around NomiPay and how NomiPay works on the Nomi platform. NomiPay, for those of you that don't know, is a payment solution for Nomi users to take payment via debit card, credit card, Google Pay, Apple Pay, open banking, as well as now direct debit, which is a brand new functionality. And the beauty of it all is that it's completely interconnected with Nomi's bookkeeping so that all of your reconciliation is done automatically, saving you a lot of time. Um, I'll hand over to Ilan to get started. But if you
So
have any
yeah,
questions along the way, feel free to add them into the Q&A section, and yeah, I'll be sure to ask them.
sounds good. Sounds good. So thanks for having me over. My name is Ilan. I'm a product manager at UNIPaaS, which is what's powering NomiPay. And today I want to show you a bit of what you can get from NomiPay as a business and how it can interact with Nomi in general. And of course, happy to answer any questions. I'll show you some flows of how this works. And yeah, we'll go ahead and start. So I'm an accountant. For this example, I'm not really an accountant, but in this example, I'll be an accountant. I'm using Nomi for my bookkeeping. And I'm going to start by creating a new customer, which is something you probably all know how to do by now. So let's go ahead and call that one Ilan Nomi Demo. And I'm just going to put my email in. All right. And now the first thing I want to do is to raise an invoice for this new customer that I've just onboarded. And I want to create that invoice for them. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Ilan Nomi Demo 2311. That's the new customer that we have. The due date will be for today, just for the sake of simplicity. And we'll raise a £50 invoice for Ilan. All right. So some of you may already know that when you scroll down on the invoice page, on the Create Invoice page, you have this component, this widget, which is basically your NomiPay widget for any invoice that you raise. Currently, what is selected here, you can see there are two options, either paying or getting paid via instant banking, which is open banking and cards, or there is a direct debit option. I'm going to go and do both just to show you kind of the beauty of getting paid with various payment methods. So I'm just going to go ahead and raise that invoice. All right, and we can see this invoice is now here. If I have a look, I'm going to have a quick preview at that invoice. Of course, this invoice I can email to my customer, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to show it through here. You now have this Pay Now button that's been added to the invoice. Your customer will receive this invoice. Once they click on this Pay Now button, they will be redirected to a checkout page. On this checkout, they can currently pay with either cards, credit, debit, or via open banking. And just for the sake of time, we'll do open banking for now. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that up. This is, of course, a mock bank, but your clients would obviously enter their real banking details. It's pretty short. If it's done via mobile or their banking app, it's a very, very quick process. Okay, so this payment of £50 has now been paid by your customer. That's great. And now let's have a look at what this looks like within Nomi. So first of all, we can see that if I refresh this page, here is that invoice. That's invoice number 28. And if I refresh my invoice page, you can see that this invoice is now paid. It's been marked as paid. We can see this in several places. So one of them is here. Another one is in our NomiPay. You'll notice the NomiPay menu item on the left. We'll just go ahead and open that in a new tab. And you can see that we have this kind of ledger or balance and activity tab that shows us what's been happening in our NomiPay account. And you can see that open banking transfer has been made, £50, no fee for this one, but yeah. So this is where all the transactions will be seen. And that's it for, oh, sorry, one more thing. You can also see it on your reconciliation. This whole thing happens behind the scenes. It's auto-reconciled. We'll select our NomiPay bank name here, and we'll be able to see that same transaction right here on the bottom, already as part of your bookkeeping. All automatic, no further work required on your side. Ash, is there anything you want to add on this flow before I move on to another payment method?
Nothing to add, I don't think, from the Nomi side. But for NomiPay specifically, there is a notification as well in the top right-hand corner, which is really useful.
Yep. There we go. You're absolutely right. So you can, while you're in the app, you can get these in-app notifications that are very, very useful and helpful to understand your situation. Thanks for pointing that out, Ash.
No worries.
All right. So now we'll move on to another payment method, which we've just launched now, which is direct debit. You're all familiar with this payment method, but it's actually the first ever embedded direct debit solution. So some of you may be using other products, which usually have to take you outside to some third-party portal, and you have to log in, and you have to obviously make sure afterwards that it's all reconciled with your Nomi. So we have just launched direct debit within NomiPay. So just to show you what that looks like, I'm going to raise another invoice once again for Ilan Nomi demo 2311, and we'll do pretty much the same thing that we did before, DD test. We'll do this one for £100. And now we're not going to choose this, radio button for the instant bank transfers and cards. Now we want to select direct debit, but direct debit is currently grayed out. The reason for that is because Ilan Nomi Demo 2311 is a new customer who doesn't have a mandate set up, a direct debit mandate set up yet. And there are two ways to set up a mandate for this customer. One is right from here, right from your invoice widget. And another I'll show in just very quickly, and then I'll come back to here, is through your customer list. You can go and see your customer list here. And you can see your whole customer base, and each one of them has now, we've added, or Nomi has added this direct debit column, which lets you know which customer has a mandate set up, which doesn't, which needs to be resent. So for that, Ilan demo, which one was it? Here we go, this one. This one needs to still set up a mandate, right? So this is another way you can do that. If you click here, it'll open a pop-up, and the same pop-up I will show comes up from the invoice page. So let's go back to our invoice. This is an invoice that I haven't even raised it yet. I want to charge this customer £100 via direct debit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click here to set up a direct debit mandate, and this will show me that pop-up that we just saw. Very flexible. You can change pretty much everything here. This is the email that your customer will get the invite to, or the request for setting up a mandate. You can change the subject. You can change the message. I'm not going to do that, but of course it's very, very flexible. And I'm going to go ahead and send that request. You can see that it's been sent successfully. And in a moment, I'll show you what that looks like on your customer side. But you can also copy this link here that says this is the mandate request link. You can copy that and you can send it to your customer any way you like, right? You can send it via SMS or email or WhatsApp or any other method you choose. But your customer did receive an email, and the email is the following. So it says, Ilan Nomi Demo, which is your customer's name, please set up a direct debit mandate. This is the email. And once your customer clicks on this link, they will be redirected to a setup flow, a mandate setup flow. Before I fill that in, I just want to show you what that looks like on the invoice. You can see that the invoice state has now changed. Direct debit is now selected, but it says that it's awaiting the customer's action, okay? Because the customer has to now set up direct debit, set up a mandate. And until that mandate is set up and active, obviously we cannot really charge direct debit collections, but we can still create this invoice. We can still raise the invoice with the intent of charging it with direct debit. And you can see it here, okay? So we have this invoice raised. We can see the preview, and this time the preview, remember that Pay Now button that led us to the card and open banking checkout? Now it will look slightly different. Now it will say, hi, hi buyer, hi Ilan 2510 Nomi vendor. We would like to set up a direct debit mandate. And this is another way for your customer to be able to set that up. Now, I do want to show one more thing before we set up that mandate, is what it looks like in your NomiPay tab. So for now, this new tab has been added, direct debit. You can click on it. And within this tab, there are two sections. There's the mandate section and the upcoming collections section. The mandate section shows you all of your customers' mandates, all their statuses, all their references, all the information that you need to be able to manage your direct debit mandates from within NomiPay. You don't need to sign into any third-party portals, nothing. Everything is right here, and very, very clear and visible. So we can see that Ilan Nomi Demo 2311 has received a request, right? So the mandate status is in sent status, which means that your customer now has to fill that mandate in. And we can see that we have created that £100 collection, which is currently pending the mandate, right? So again, if the mandate is not set up, this collection will not be made, and you will obviously have to discuss that with your customer, but we're going to assume that you've got a good customer who fills up their mandate and will give you that, that direct debit mandate. Back to the customer's view. So now the customer has to set up the mandate. A very, very short process. We'll give a bit of an overview of what direct debit is and, all the kind of details that they need to know. I'm going to quickly fill this in. Have to put in an email, phone number, address, nothing very surprising. And of course, most importantly, the bank details from which the collections will be made. So I'm just going to go ahead with our dummy account. And of course, I'm going to confirm that I'm allowed to set up this direct debit. And we're going to set it up. And that's all it takes from your customer. So that was, it was very quick for me because I know what to do. So your customer might take 4 minutes instead of 1. But it's a very, very simple process. Once that's set up, your customer doesn't need to do anything else, and everything will be reflected. So just to show you what that looks like here, we have this Ilan Nomi demo, right? So it was on status sent, and now we'll see where it's at. Now it's on pending approval. Okay, so it's all reflected in real time as things happen. And as Ash mentioned before, you're also notified in various ways about these steps, these critical steps. So you're notified within the app from here. Okay, so we can see that, yeah, sorry, I think we need to refresh. Yep, okay. So it says that Ilan Nomi Demo 2311 has submitted their direct debit mandate. That's great to know. That's important information. And I will also show some email correspondence that we send out to make it very, very clear. Even if you don't log in all the time, we want to make sure that you're updated on every step of the way with your direct debit. So this is basically saying to the buyer, this is saying to your customer that the vendor is now charging them £100 in accordance with the invoice reference. So we're trying to give as much information here as possible. We also have the mandate reference here at the bottom. This is what's called the advance notice. And here's the email saying that your customer has now submitted their direct debit mandate. It'll take a couple of days to process, and we will update you once that's done. Similarly, your customer gets an email saying, thank you for submitting. It'll take a couple of days. So we're very, very communicative with all involved parties. I'm going to cheat a bit because usually setting up mandates takes 3 days, but obviously this webinar is slightly shorter than 3 days, so we won't wait that long. I'm going to go ahead and just move that mandate into the active situation. So bear with me for one moment. Ash, if you have anything to add in the meantime, feel free. I'm just
Sure. Yeah, there's a couple of questions that have come in whilst you're doing that. So yeah, the ones that I can answer. So I'll go ahead and do them for you. So like direct debit, there's a charge for credit and debit cards. Is there a charge for open banking transfers and bank payments? The answer to that is no. They're free within NomiPay, so there's no fees for those. The second question is, if I wanted to charge a customer £100 a month for bookkeeping, totaling £1,200 per year, would I raise 12 invoices, or can I set up a monthly direct debit to collect 12 installments on a single invoice? The answer to that one would be that you would use the recurring invoice. And by using recurring invoices, it would then create 12 invoices for you, which would then be automatically collected via direct debit. But it's a very good point, and it's something that we have looked at. And yeah, we can look at something to collect installments for the future. One more question. So, okay, does the money come into NomiPay wallet or direct to bank? So when you get paid via any payment method on NomiPay, it would go into the NomiPay wallet, and then you can choose when to be paid that money. And you can have automatic payouts to your bank account. The benefit of this is that you can really streamline your sales ledger reconciliation by using the NomiPay automated methods. So when you get paid, the transactions are automatically reconciled, and then have a single payout, say once a week or once a month. So you only have to reconcile that with your main account once a month, rather than having to reconcile every single payout on a daily basis. So yeah, I hope that helps. Sorry, Ilan, go ahead.
All good. Yeah, no, those are good questions and very good answers as well. So now behind the scenes, I've gone ahead and shortened that period for approving the mandate. You can see that this mandate is now in active status. And we can also see that that upcoming collection that was £100, remember it was pending the mandate, now it's officially been created. And what that means is that it's been sent. So it has been triggered. And now it's waiting for BACS, and it's got a bit of a process there, which I will now also show what that looks like and shorten it a bit. But you can see that now this invoice 29 will be taken with direct debit. So again, I'm going to go ahead quickly and make that payment happen. Ash, if there are any other questions in the meantime.
Yeah, sure. So I think this would be one for you, Ilan. So if a payment was to fail via direct debit, would it automatically retry to take payment?
Currently, no, but we are very, very reflective of failed anything that goes wrong or right. We are very communicative about it. So if something fails, you will immediately receive an email saying, hey, this has failed, please try again. We are looking in the future to embed or to enable that auto retry mechanism. It's on our roadmap, but currently it doesn't happen automatically. All right, so I've now gone ahead and submitted that collection to BACS. So that status has in real time, again, changed to in progress. Once it's in progress, it cannot be canceled anymore. And you can see that on the right here, if you've made an error, you selected the wrong amount, or your customer says, for any reason, please cancel that direct debit payment, as long as it's in created mode or before it's been submitted to BACS, you can go ahead and cancel that. Once it's been submitted to BACS, it cannot be canceled anymore. After being submitted to BACS, I'm now going to go ahead and make that be paid out. So it'll actually be, again, I'm just simulating this. This usually takes about 2 or 3 days. But now you can see that £100 has been charged. Okay, and if we want to see what that payment looks like, it'll take us back to our balance and activity tab, and we can see that specific £100 line with the fees, etc., and it's been charged. Again, it'll look very similar to what we saw before with the cards and open banking, throughout Nomi. So it'll show the invoice as paid, and it'll show the bank, the banking details as well. But I do want to show you what that looks like from the messaging point of view. So once the mandate has been set up, your customer will receive an immediate email saying, now your vendor can charge you. And that's very important for us to reflect. And of course, the vendor, your business, will also receive that email saying, hey, great news. Your direct debit mandate from Ilan Nomi Demo is now set up, and you can start collecting payments from them. Once that money has been sent, which is what we just simulated, that £100, you will receive a message saying, hi, you've received £100 from Ilan Nomi in accordance with invoice 29. So very, very communicative, very we want to make sure that everything is available and accessible, and everything is known in real time. That's more or less, and of course, again, you have the notifications here as well, which sometimes need to be refreshed, but you will see all those messages here as well. I think that's it from me. If there are any other questions that you'd like me to answer, here's that £100 that's been paid, so nothing is due. Yeah, I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
Great. Thanks so much, Ilan. It was really useful. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them into the Q&A section. I've answered a few already, and I've sent some answers back to a few via typing. So there's none in the Q&A section right now, but I'm sure a few will come in. So next, one of the really important things I think for everyone is the pricing. So I'll go ahead and share my screen so that you can all see where to find the pricing. Hopefully you can see that. Are you able to confirm for me, Ilan, if that's okay?
I can see it, yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so if anyone ever wants to go and view the pricing for this, say it's for yourself, or maybe you want to introduce one of your clients to this, because you can see that they can benefit from the automatic reconciliation, then on the Nomi website, they can go to what we do and then go to NomiPay. This explains what NomiPay is, what it does, and how it can help. And then halfway down the page, there's a pricing section. So here we've got the instant bank transfers, which are completely free. And then we've got our debit and credit cards, where UK cards are charged at 1.3% plus 20p, plus a 0.4% for Amex and premium cards, which are normally all business cards. EEA countries are 2.3% plus 20p, and the rest of the world is 2.9% plus 20p. So this is roughly in line with Stripe, and it's extremely competitive with the whole market. And then moving on, we've got direct debit. So funds received using this method are available for payout within a single day. A single transaction cannot exceed £5,000. So the basic fees for these are 1% plus 20p, with a maximum basic fee of £4. And then there's an additional fee for any transaction above £2,000, which is 0.3%. And then we've got other fees. So a payout is when you're paying out the balance in your NomiPay account to your bank account. There's no charges for that. There's no charges for any refunds. Foreign currency exchange rate conversions are 2%. And there's a chargeback of a chargeback fee of £15 if any of your clients ever call your bank account and basically say that the payment you took was unauthorized. So I hope that is useful. If anyone has any questions about the pricing or anything else, feel free to put them in the chat now. Okay. So, yeah, we got a message that says, think it's straightforward. That's great. That's good to hear. Then there's another one that says, how does NomiPay help accounting automation, and what is normally done with external direct debit provider? So here, NomiPay really eliminates the manual reconciliation process. So if you are using, say, Go Cardless, and a bookkeeping software of any kind, they may have an integration, but normally what you'll be doing is exporting a CSV file from, say, Go Cardless or any other direct debit provider, and then importing that into your bookkeeping system and reconciling each payment against its relevant sales invoice. Or you may do that slightly differently and make sales invoices off of the back of an import. But with Nomi and NomiPay, essentially what happens is you just raise your sales invoice, take payment, and then the reconciliation is done for you. So instead of having two separate platforms which may not sync, you do it all within one platform and everything reconciles automatically. And that can save quite a considerable amount of time if you're, for example, if you're a company like Nomi and we're raising over 1,000 invoices a month, then it can save a lot of time. Okay. The next question is it possible to share the link with the client again in case the initial one expires or client deleted it by mistake? I'm assuming you're relating to the direct debit link. And in that case, Ilan, are you okay to answer that one?
Oh, yeah. So the answer is absolutely yes. Within that pay portal that we showed, the NomiPay portal, let me just show it. I think that will be Ash, could you let me share my screen quickly once more?
Yeah, sure.
I'll just show what that looks like.
Bear with me. Are you able to share now?
It says that while you're sharing, I can't. So I think you just need to stop the sharing and then I can.
Okay. There you go. Go ahead.
All right. So coming back to this this portal, you can see that for, let's say, this one, Ilan NomiPay at 2311, the mandate status is in sent, which means that my customer has not filled it in yet. And I have this option here of resending that request. So as long as the customer hasn't filled in the mandate, this option here of resending the request will appear. You can always click on it. It'll raise that same kind of window that we saw earlier. And you can resend it again and again and again, as many times as you like until they fill in that mandate.
Great. Yep. You got a thank you. Perfect. So yeah, we'll wait around for another few minutes because we finished early, which is always good. We recognize how valuable your time is, which is why we wanted to get started so promptly. But if anyone does have any other questions, put them into the Q&A section. If not, we will bring this to an end and we'll be sure to share a copy of this with everyone that has registered. So you'll receive that to your inbox. And we'll also upload it to our YouTube channel so that it can be accessed at any time. So if you do want to share the video recording with any of your clients that may benefit from NomiPay, then you can just share the YouTube link or forward the video onto them. Feel free. Or if any friends or family are interested in using a solution like that, then feel free to share it with them. All right. Oh, we got another thank you. Thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate it. I know we haven't done a webinar for quite some time, so it's nice to see some familiar names. Great. I don't think anything's coming through, Ilan. So I believe we can bring that to an end.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'm of course available. So if anything does come up afterwards, I'm here and happy to get some feedback and waiting to see how it'll be used.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just to add to that, if anyone wants to book into a session to actually go through NomiPay and more specifics on a one-to-one basis, then feel free to reach out to our team. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Ilan. Really appreciate it. Great session.
Thanks,
All
Ash.
right.